Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the 9th annual HITLAB Summit. We are really excited to have with you today one of the most incredible leaders that we've found in a number of years on the data science side of digital healthcare. And we are looking forward to a nice discussion over the next 15 minutes with someone who has been doing some very innovative things in digital health and with health data science. And to start off, again, on a day two of a 3-day journey, with day one being the first in-person event, large-scale event HITLAB has done in 3 years, getting back to business in New York City. And this day two is also packed with a number of amazing speakers. But let's start with Bishen Singh. And Bishen, if you could tell us a little bit about your journey to start with today.
Hey, Stan, thanks for having me. So my journey consists of a couple different types of roles. I spent some time doing research in an academic research lab. I studied neuroscience, specifically learning behavior and memory, and then moved from there to NIH, where I was helping fund brain research, working on the Brain Initiative, and also stem cell related efforts, and then as well as managing some of the multimodal data sharing aspects of what happens at NIH. So that was very interesting. It helped me get a better sense of how data sharing works, how data integration works, the kinds of insights we can get out of bringing together diverse kinds of data sets. And then I moved from NIH to HHS, which is somewhat like NIH's parent organization, where I was doing a couple things. One was enterprise-wide data sharing kind of work. So how do we get the NIH and FDA and CDC to all work together when it comes to shared use cases, such as, let's say, fighting the opioids epidemic? So how do we incentivize that kind of interaction and collaboration, as well as population health kind of work? So how do we get different kinds of government agencies to work together to come to shared solutions and common approaches towards addressing different kinds of social determinants of health issues? So if it's access to the right kind of care, access to clean water, good quality food, that kind of thing, how do we bring that all together so that program dollars are overlapping and sort of aligning with each other the best way possible to have the greatest impact across the population? And then more recently, I've been working at Microsoft, where I'm now focused on the tech side of that journey, where we're enabling a lot of different interesting solutions. So, physician decision support, how do we help doctors use the best insights to make their decisions and give the best patient care possible? How do we bring together genomic data, integrate that with electronic medical record data? Those kinds of things. And generally, how do we enable the most care at the highest level possible through the incredible scale that the Azure cloud can provide?
That's incredible. And again, I think one of the things that we often see with leadership in healthcare is that in order to have more empathy for different parts of the healthcare system and different ecosystem leaders, it's important to have experience across those different ecosystems. So obviously, having done so much work with the NIH and really understanding the point of view of an institution like the NIH that's been set up and driven by physicians, public health professionals, and obviously patients, it has a tremendous reach across the entire US ecosystem. So talk a little bit more about that leadership journey. Let's dive into that a little bit more and tell us a little bit about what you would recommend for early career professionals who are trying to establish themselves as a leader. What kind of advice would you give to folks like that?
So I think one of the ways I think about being a good leader, especially as an early career, when I was early career, was the differentiator between someone who's trying to be a good leader and maybe someone who isn't trying as hard is really taking ownership of a problem or a problem area. If you can become an expert, the go-to person for an area that you're truly passionate about, I think that is what can set you apart and help you be known as a leader. I think a leader, just because someone may have it in their title, doesn't necessarily make them one. It's really someone who truly treats their job as if they own the company. right? And in some areas, sometimes it's not so easy to do, but I think generally, if there's a small component of your job that you can truly own, and you can say, you can through your actions demonstrate that you are amazing at it, you take pride in it, you feel fulfilled doing it, or at least demonstrate that, then that can help you set yourself apart as a good leader. And I think that gets well recognized by others in the firm as well as by customers. You can always tell, for example, when you walk in a restaurant, if you're greeted by the owner, right? The owner has a different level of enthusiasm versus people who are employed to be there may not be so happy working there. So, similarly, if you can bring that same enthusiasm to whatever it is you're doing, it's as if you own it, as if it's your baby. I think that really helps set you apart as a leader.
That's fantastic. And obviously you are with Microsoft, a major healthcare leader in the ecosystem. You're with NIH, and you've been able to help empower a lot of leaders around you. How do you recommend that young leaders and early leaders in their career do that and really almost pay it forward in a way to make sure that they're doing everything they can do to inspire another generation of leadership that's going to help improve healthcare for 8 billion people around the world?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think, if you ask yourself, what goal am I fulfilling? What am I working towards? Is it helping make impact to the business or to the field that I'm in, whether it's population health or patient level health or whatever? I think that's a great place to start. So, by doing that, then you can help others who have synergistic goals and say, how do we work together to achieve our goals? What's the best way for you to concentrate your efforts in one area and for me to focus mine in another area, so that together we can have the desired impact that we want. I think figuring out what are the right teams that need your skills to complement each other's efforts and vice versa, that too is a step in the right direction. You always want to be aware of the problem at a higher level, so that when you're zoomed in working on your piece of it, you can contribute to achieving that the larger goal that more people share. And then I think be open with your ideas, right? Like be generous with your innovative ideas, especially if you feel like something could be done differently in a more optimized way, more efficiently, maybe faster, cheaper, whatever it is. Share that idea with someone else. Chances are you might find some people who maybe are a little bit resistant to innovation, but then you'll find others who are not, who are looking for ideas like yours to come across and say, so that they can be like, oh wow, that's a great idea, let me try that. And I think you'll find that if you have this mindset, if you have this approach to collaboration, then people will come to you with their ideas as well. Especially in early career, when people are coming out of university or graduate school, and they have very contrarian ideas or idealistic kind of ideas. I think that's a great time to start sharing those. And of course, provided there's psychological safety to do that, right? I think you can really, through this innovative idea exchange with the right folks, you can really get towards creating a culture of innovation within your organization or within your operational unit within your organization. I think that's a step in the right direction.
That's fantastic. And when you talk about that right direction, and that's so important. And you've obviously taken a really good direction in your career. Talk a little bit about how leadership and good leadership that surrounded you at the NIH and Microsoft now has helped you achieve the success that you've seen in your career.
Yeah, so I've had the good fortune of having really nice air cover, really nice supervisors and team culture over the history of my career, which has served me really well. So I think one thing that really helped me was, so at HHS, for example, I was leading this program called the Data Science CoLab. And that was a program designed to help innovators around the agency come to the office of the director and say, hey, I have this really innovative idea. I want to try it out. But I need air cover to do it because, it's different, it's new, it's going to break some things, but it's going to overall have a positive effect on, my bottom line. So I think one component of enabling success in that product, in those journeys, was providing really good air cover to those people and saying, look, if you want to try something different, make sure you vet the idea properly. We'll help you with that. And then go try it, but in a controlled way, so that if you're doing something different, if you're breaking stuff, you're not breaking too much, right? You're breaking things in a controlled way. And that way, when you want to go and start scaling up, you can show people and really get their buy-in in a very organic way and say, look, here's what's different about what I'm doing. Yes, a couple things broke, but overall, here's what's much better now. And I think having that air cover from, folks in higher up positions is something that's a huge enabler to driving innovation in an organization. And so I've been very fortunate to have really nice top cover throughout my journey. And that's helped me do some innovative stuff and break a few things here and there, but overall have a positive effect on the bottom line. So I would say to other folks who are going through similar positions, I would say try to find a team that you can work with, or supervisor, or create a culture where you provide psychological safety to your environment, or you're in an environment where you have that same thing, and you can go out and break a couple things, try a couple experiments, and see how things work. Provided they're in a controlled way, provided they're in a safe way where you're limiting the kind of potential downside, but maximizing the upside.
That's fantastic. And we're getting down to a few minutes here. Would love to have any other comments or any other topics that right now in your view of what's happening in healthcare that you would like to add in as important topics and important pieces of the leadership journey of people in healthcare today.
Yeah, I think the intersection of tech and health in general is growing, and growing in a very exciting way. There's a lot of different opportunities popping up for people who come from very specific backgrounds, like folks deep in genomics, different kinds of even organic chemists, all different kinds of scientific backgrounds or other kinds of niche backgrounds to improve the state of healthcare. So I would say that this is bringing a lot of different perspectives into the field. And so two things on that. One is be open to different perspectives, be open to being challenged, because I think the bottom line is we want to get to the truth. We want to get to know what works, and if something doesn't work, why it doesn't work, and if something can work better than the way status quo is working, then let's get to it, and let's get to it fast, because I think we're all on the same page about the cost of healthcare being high here. We want to lower that. Precision medicine not being precise enough. Of course, we have a long way to go there. Personalized care, right? We want to make sure from the end to end, we have the right kind of personalized care available to everyone. And I think, these different perspectives now coming into the field at a higher rate than ever before creates a great opportunity to enable a lot of new minds to succeed in this field and bring a lot of diversity in terms of like the different kinds of backgrounds that we're now working with. And then also it enables us to innovate at a higher rate than ever before. So if you're a niche, if you're a subject matter expert coming into healthcare from a different area, that's super exciting. And I think, coming together in a way that's as synergistic as possible in terms of, you as a geneticist, someone else as a psychiatrist, someone else as a technology expert, working towards a solution that can help a patient with mental health issues, for example, have the best mental health possible. I think that's a really interesting conversation. And I think I'm really excited to see more of that happening than ever before.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, and really appreciate your time, especially so early in the morning and in the middle of a busy week. I'm sure you're packed. And so wishing you all the best and looking forward to catching up again. Thank you, Bishen.
Thank you, Stan.
And there you have it. Again, a nice way to kick off day 2 for the 2022 HITLAB Innovators Summit, and a great way to better understand what are some of the nuances in leadership today. It's important that we, as we're going through the digital health reset, as we're beginning to understand that not every year over the next 10 years is going to look like 2020, 2021 in terms of funding and resources, and that as we're resetting our expectations of resources available as leaders in the healthcare system, we need to be able to reset our leadership styles as well. It's a new world out there. There's a lot of folks working really hard. Most of you are doing 2 or 3 jobs instead of 1. And as a part of that, you're managing a lot more people as well. And you need to remember that leadership styles and leadership efficacy is really critical to maintain a strong working team that's going to be sustainable over a very long time as we're rebuilding this healthcare ecosystem.